not convert somebody, not propagate their faith, at least practice their faith, they need a land. So he fought for West Bengal. First, he did not want to partition Bengal, but at a later stage, within around 3 years before independence, he also started propagating the idea of we want to separate Bengal for Hindus, and he also fought for West Bengal. And today, unfortunately, we are seeing not only roots, not only green shoots, but well-entrenched communal politics that has been institutionalized by Trinamool Congress in West Bengal, which the country may face very difficult to handle in the coming days. Very difficult. I will go through all those subjects during my speech. West Bengal is a peculiar part of our country, geography of our country, which faced three partitions. You may be wondering, what is this three partitions? First was Vanga Banga in 1905. The Britishers, to break the nationalist movement, they divided Bengal, but they had to take back their resolution within a year after they faced the agitation by the whole spectrum of Indian nationalists. So it was only 1 year, very short-lived division that happened in 1905 during the British time. Second time partition happened, it is in 1947. India was divided because of the false politics of the Congress and because of the cunningness of the Britishers into two parts, India and Pakistan. And that Pakistan from day one was an impractical piece of land. It had one Western Pakistan, which is Pakistan today, and it also had Eastern Pakistan on our right side. Whenever we look at the map on our right side, it now which has been named as Bangladesh post 1971 War of Bangla and liberation movement of Bangla. During 1947, there was very many fissures inside our country also. Many refugees, because of the direct action of the Muslim League, many refugees came inside India. Many refugees came inside India. And the third partition, it happened in 1971. That time it was not the partition of India, but we had to suffer because there was a partition of Bengal. And even during that time, both kind of people came. The Hindus who were persecuted in that part of Pakistan for 30 long years. For 30 long years, they were persecuted for their religious belief, for no fault of theirs. You are going to a temple, you are persecuted. Why? You go peacefully to your temple. Nothing else. You are not trampling upon anybody. You are not entrenching upon anybody's rights. But for practicing your faith, they became refugees in their own country, and they had to run off to Bengal. And today we see huge influx of refugees, which has happened during 1947 and then during 1971 and continued for many more years. The big section of the society which faced the brunt of Bangladeshi Muslims during that time was the scheduled caste people who are known as Namashudras. The Namashudras, who are also known, a section of them who are also known as Matuvas, they came in lakhs. You'll be wondering, they came in lakhs. And some estimate tells that along with Namashudras, Rajwamshis also came and other general communities also came to the country, and their number is almost 1.2 crores in West Bengal today. Imagine a society of 1.2 crore people being thrown away, driven away just because of their faith, just because they practiced a different faith than me. 1.2 crore people, they were displaced from Bengal, and they also came to India, because of which today Citizenship Amendment Act has been brought by Honorable Narendra Modi's government. So there were three partitions, 1905, 1947 and 1971. If you want to analyze West Bengal politics, you can't just look at percentage of votes. You can't look at number of MLAs one. We have to look into all these aspects to understand the West Bengal politics. When you go to politics of the West Bengal, you can divide it into almost 7 phases. First is the 1937 to 1947, where Muslim League scored over Congress and it started direct action, and through that direct action, it was successful in creating a part of Pakistan at that time, and later which got named as Bangladesh. Today that part of the country is not there in our hands. It is not there in our hands. The 1952 to 1967, with all throughout, it was Congress. And from 1967 to 1977, it was struggle between Congress, United Front and Communists. Congress, United Front and Communists, and slowly communism started taking roots in West Bengal because of the Naxalbari movement of 1967, where Charu Majumdar and Kanu Sanyal, they started violent protest against the landlords. This was the phase after 1937, the violence of Muslim League became general part of society in some parts of the society and became a tool of politicians also. So in 1967. From 1977 to 1997, it was 30 long years of communist rule. Jyoti Basu, Buddhadev Bhattacharya, everybody we have seen. From 1997 to 2006, it was the struggle between the communists and the TMK. The communists tried to control Trinamool Congress and its leader Mamata Banerjee again through violence. Mamata Banerjee is also a child of violence, and she also started practicing violence again. Many people who face violence, they feel that after that, when I come into picture, I should not follow violence. I should see that the society is peaceful. But Mamata Banerjee did not do that time. She faced violence of communists, and then she made it part of her politics also. 2007 to 2016, it is totally Mamata's era. And from 2016, we have seen the growth of Bharatiya Janata Party, which has been unparalleled when you compare with other parties. There has been unparalleled growth of Bharatiya Janata Party right from 2016. So this has been the 1937 to 47, 1947 to 1967, 1967 to 1997, again 1997 to 2006 of combined struggle between the communist and the Trinamool. And from 2016, we see that there has been a huge development as far as Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned. After independence, because of the influx of the refugees and because of the influx of the infiltrators, for no reason. Why did Bangladesh was created for Muslims? Pakistan was created for Muslims. This is very fact. This has been stated in Parliament. This is a documented evidence. There is no, so nobody need to tell me that I'm delivering some communal sentence. What was the purpose of creation of Pakistan and Bangladesh? It was because of the Muslim population. There was no other reason. There was no other land laborers movement or landless laborers movement. Nothing was that sort. It was created because they were majority Muslim states. Then why did the Muslim population came into India? There was no persecution, nothing. So we call them infiltrator. And they are infiltrator, illegal infiltrator in our land today. And their number also runs into almost a crore in Bengal. If you look at the demography of the state, if you look at the map of demography of the state, you can see that the way West Bengal politics is being run, it is being run under the aegis of illegal infiltrators. There were 9 constituencies, parliamentary constituencies. I state with facts. There are 9 parliamentary constituencies. I can read you the names also. Joynagar, Jangipur, Barasat, Basirhat, Murshidabad, Balurghat, Jadavpur, Ranaghat, and Behrampur. 9 parliamentary constituencies. Between 2009 and 2019, they had increase in the number of voters to the tune of, hold your breath, 48 to 53%. Hold your breath. 9 parliamentary constituencies within a span of 10 years, none of them mega metropolitan cities like Chennai or Bangalore or Mumbai, which have migrant laborers also in huge numbers. None of them mega metropolitan cities. They are rural areas except for Jadavpur. Except for Jadavpur, every one of them is a rural area. They had an increase in the number of votes within a span of 10 years for 48 to 57%. Joynagar is 57%. And in these 9 parliamentary constituencies, you may be wondering to know that except Jadavpur, every single one of them is majority bordering Bangladesh. The major portion of these constituencies, 8 parliamentary constituencies, except for Jadavpur, they are bordering Bangladesh. This, I think, makes you understand the direct relationship between the illegal infiltrator and the politics of Congress, politics of left parties, and also the politics of Trinamool Congress in recent days. And I will show you a map. You will necessarily understand it. This is the map of West Bengal. You can see from Ganga Sagar here, where river Ganga, it meets the Bengal Kolli river, the Bay of Bengal river. From there till the Bhutan border of Alipurdwar, it is West Bengal. And there is a particular peculiar corridor called Chicken Neck Corridor here, where the width of our country is only a few kilometers wide. West Bengal, the northern West Bengal, it has Nepal to its north, China to its north, it has Bhutan as its border, and also it has got such a long 2,200 kilometers of Bangla border. Porous riverine border till yesterday. Even today, the riverine border is porous because no government can do anything. The land borders have been sealed to a fairly good extent, but it is most of them, it is riverine borders. It is 2,300 kilometers of Bangladesh border, which the West Bengal has today. We have North Bengal, which has the Rajwamshi population, which has the tribal population, which has tea garden, which has Gurkha population, and which it has where it's the general population. And we have a peculiar corridor called Uttar Dinajpur and Dakshin Dinajpur. You will be wondering to know both these districts got independence on August 17th, not 15th. For 48 hours, there was a discussion taking place whether this part should be added to India or Bangladesh. And finally, both the countries agreed that because West Bengal had to get connected with North Bengal, let us leave Uttar Dinajpur and Dakshin Dinajpur to India. And they took Sylhet and another Hindu majority district to Bangladesh. And this particular piece of Uttar Dinajpur and Dakshin Dinajpur, they got independence in August 17, 48 hours later than every one of us got independence. The whole corridor from Kuch Bihar, Uttar Dinajpur, Dakshin Dinajpur, Malda, Murshidabad, Nadia, North Chobis Pargana, South Chobis Pargana, everything is infested with illegal infiltrators. And you will be wondering to know, sitting in Tamil Nadu, you will be wondering to know, sitting in many other states, that there is a particular district called North Chobis Parganas here, which is very nearer to the Ganga Sagar. Very near to the Ganga Sagar. You hold your breath, it has got a population of 1 crore 9 lakhs. A district having 1 crore 9 lakh population. The northernmost district of Kursiang Commissionerate, it has 2 lakh 3,000 population. And the North Chobis Pargana, it has got a population of 1 crore 9 lakh. No administrative reform. Such a big state, it has got 23 districts. You compare it with Tamil Nadu, you compare it with Karnataka, you compare it with Kerala, you compare it with Gujarat, you compare it with Bihar. Such a big state has got 23 districts. And a district, a DC for 1 crore population in North Chobis Pargana. But the unfortunate part of that North Chobis Parganas is, if you see any Bangladeshi immigrants who have come from that part of the country to Tamil Nadu, if you talk to them, they will have the voter ID card or ration card from that particular North Chobis Pargana. It has been kept so to aid infiltrators by both Communist and the Trinamool Congress. It is not so. It has been kept so for wanted reason, so that they can run their politics. They can run their politics on the minority tag and the infiltrator tag. They can run their politics. West Bengal during communist and also later during the Trinamool Congress, it faced wide violence, political violence. There was Marijjapi massacre, where more than 16,000 people were shot down by the West Bengal police because of the communist order. And the 11 sadhus of Anand Margi were burnt. Mamata Banerjee herself was assaulted by the communists in Calcutta main road. Congress and the CPM, they fought together. So you had huge political violence before Mamata Banerjee also came. As I told, she was also the baby of violence only. There are tens of incidents against her in which the BJP cadre, since she also fought against the communists, there was a common cause for a small period of time. Many BJP workers also tried to save her, and they were also part of her agitation to fight the communists, to fight the violent attacks. During that time, it was an impression of our workers that once either she comes to power, she may bring in development, which turned to be untrue at later dates. During this time also, Bharatiya Janata Party was also slowly growing there. Leaders like Vishnukant Shastri, leaders like Professor Haripad Bharati, leaders like Tapan Sikdar, they slowly built brick by brick the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Bharatiya Janata Sangh, even in West Bengal also. Many people-oriented, poor-oriented issues were taken up. Many religio-cultural agitations were taken up. Lal Krishna Advani's Ratha Yatra had a big response in West Bengal. BJP, brick by brick, it started growing up. In 2014, we had 2 parliamentary constituencies to our credit. We won Darjeeling, which has been with us for a very long time, and people have been supporting us. And also along with that, we won Asansol also, where SSY Ahluwalia, he won in Darjeeling, and Babul Supriyo, he won in Asansol constituency. In 2016 assembly election, we got 10% vote compared to 2011. This was the first significant growth of voting percentage for Bharatiya Janata Party. In 2011, we had 3% votes and 1 seat. And in 2016, we had 10% votes, but 3 seats. Then it has been no holds barred growth of Bharatiya Janata Party and struggle of Bharatiya Janata Party to take roots in West Bengal politics. During this time, the communal politics or the minority appeasement of Trinamool Congress and Mamata Banerjee, it started peaking. It started peaking. She started showing her opposition to Jai Shri Ram at every turn of event in every program of her son. So Jai Shri Ram, it became like a movement of resistance against anarchist rule of Mamata Banerjee, like Vande Mataram was a slogan of resistance against the Britishers during the pre-independent period. She took many routes to appease the illegal infiltrators and the big minority population of the West Bengal. On a single year in 2017, both Ramjan and also Durga Puja came on the same day, and she halted Durga immersion, which is part of the cultural ethos of West Bengal, to see to it that the Ramjan procession can pass. Many people may say that what is the wrong? It could have also been done the other way, is what people tell there. It could also have been done the other way. Why the same way? Ramjan procession could also have been halted for Durga immersion, but it doesn't happen in many parts of our country because of the so-called secularism that is in somewhat strong way, if you have to describe it, which is harming the ethos of our country. The pseudo-secularism in the garb of secularism. She followed again the minority appeasement also. And in the same way, the panchayat elections were also rigged to the maximum extent. Communists were also doing the same thing, and at the same time, Mamata Banerjee also started doing the same thing. In 2018 panchayat election, you will be wondering to know that the polling percentage was only 21%, because 32% of the seats were already won by Trinamool Congress uncontested. 32% of the seats were won by Trinamool Congress uncontested. So the overall polling percentage in the remaining seats were just 21%. 6,000 of our workers, 6,000 of our workers, they had to flee to Orissa, they had to flee to Jharkhand, they had to flee to Assam, and they had to come and take shelter in Delhi in our MP's houses. 6,000 of our workers. In many of the panchayats, for a year long, our sarpanchas, chairman of our Gram Panchayat, they couldn't take oath at all. They were threatened, if you take oath, your houses will be burnt. You'll be wondering to know, if you take oath, the women in your houses will be raped. These are the kind of threats issued even today also. You can't imagine one such incident because of the politics between ADMK and DMK or DMK and BJP. You can't just imagine in Tamil Nadu such a kind of thing. Raping women workers, you can never find it in Tamil Nadu. Yeah, there is some violence in Tamil Nadu also, but raping a woman worker because she is a worker of a political party can never be seen even in dreams in Tamil Nadu. But that happens in West Bengal under Bengal ki beti Mamata Banerjee. He is being called Didi. He is being called Didi. And she terms herself as Bengal ki beti, and she is neither beti of Bengal because she doesn't care for the other betis of Bengal, and she can never be a Didi because she doesn't have that concern for society as all. For anybody to become mama or anybody to become auntie or anybody to become Didi, it is not the name, and it is the concern in their heart that should be exhibited. She doesn't have anything. Against her minority appeasement politics, against the institutional of corruption, Bharatiya Janata Party moved around West Bengal, struggled around West Bengal in a very big way under the National President Sri Amit Shah, under the State Presidentship of Sri Dilip Ghosh for last 4.5 years. Continuously, it was an era of struggle. Our helicopters were not allowed to land. Our public meetings did not get permission. Our workers were beaten. In these 4 years before the election, from 2016 to 2020, we lost 140 of our karyakartas. 140 of our karyakartas to brutal violence. Kill them and just hang them, man. 4 more such killings have happened post-election. Kill them and hang them, man. It has been a particular way the community used to do it, and Trinamool has perfected that art of killing and hanging. And always the police, they always look at the other way, and they don't find any evidence, or they catch hold of some people who, because of the lack of evidence, and they have got every evidence that they were not in that place, and they will catch some person in the who are there in Calcutta for a killing that happens in Alipurdwar, and over a period of 1 year, court is surely going to let him down because he has got a record that he was there in Calcutta. Arrest wrong people. So this has been the way police also have been targeting Bharatiya Janata Party workers there. In 2019, we made a big mark against all predictions, against all the wishes of Mamata Banerjee and her party and her Gunda workers and Gunda corrupt leader. Bharatiya Janata Party won 18 seats in West Bengal in 2019 elections. That was a watershed movement for Bharatiya Janata Party, and it was a watershed movement for the Bengal politics also. And from there on, it was again a period of violence against Bharatiya Janata Party at every turn of events. At every turn of events. Between 2019 and 2019 election and 2021 election, out of this 140, more than 50 workers we lost within a span of 16 to 18 months. Within a span of 16 to 18 months. Till today, for not one single murder, a punishment has been given, or somebody has been booked and taken to task. Nothing has happened. And the 2021 elections came. What was the kind of politics Mamata Banerjee practiced during this 2020 election? We can see it is just there in front of us. She came on a fine day to a public meeting and she told to Nadda, Chadda, Kadda, Gadda. This was the word used by her to a president of the national political party. This was the kind of discourse she did it there. She called names Prime Minister. She called names Amit Shah, Ravan, Dushasan, Duryodhan, Neecha, Rakshasa, everything during 2021 elections. You can always criticize an opponent. Democracy gives right to you. You can always accuse your opponent. Democracy gives right to you. You can always make an allegation, valid allegation against an opponent. Democracy gives the right to you. But no democratic country or democratic tradition gives you a right to call another person Dushasan, Duryodhan, Ravan. Everything was called done. But the media is silent. You don't find a single word in Tamil media for this. You find reams and reams of paper printed in Tamil Nadu media circle about Lakshadweep, which has got 38,000 population. 38,000. You find editorials for Lakshadweep. I don't blame. You find op-eds about Lakshadweep. I don't feel it wrong. You find center page articles again about Lakshadweep. I don't mind it. It is also a part of our country. But friends from media, they should also understand that there is a state called West Bengal, which has got 9.6 crore voters and 10.5 crore population. And Lakshadweep is 36,000 population. Muppattiyaru Ayiram. It is 36,000. When you give one full page for Lakshadweep, you can at least give one column for West Bengal. It is in your own country, and Bharatiya Janata Party is the party ruling this country. This is the way some of the intelligentsia and some of the people who are called themselves intellectuals. The problem with this intellectual world is the problem is that nobody else names many people intellectual. They put the tag on themselves that they are intellectuals. They have closed their eyes to Bengal and they are blind towards Bengal. Fairness is the bare minimum thing is expected out of a person and institution and anything. And fairness is a bare minimum thing. Justice, propriety, all these things come later. Fairness comes first. There is no fairness also. Elections happened. Bharatiya Janata Party won big, but not up to expectation. We got 38% votes in 2021 election. The elections were fairly peaceful compared to parliamentary elections and panchayat elections because of the presence of 400 companies of central forces. Because of the strict vigilance by the election commission, it was fairly. But even then, our candidates were targeted. Babul Supriyo's car was attacked. Locket Chatterjee was physically attacked. More than 60 of our candidates were brutally attacked during the election time. But we didn't take any casualties, luckily. They all escaped with bruises. Our cars were attacked. But this time, she couldn't stop us from campaigning. And this time, in every single booth, Bharatiya Janata Party workers, they campaigned. But due to politics and due to the wishes of the people, which we don't blame on EVMs like other parties blame. We take with a bow the wishes of the people. We did not fare as per our wishes or expectation in the election, but our growth was huge. We grew from 3 seats to 77 seats. In North Bengal, we almost swept the election. And in Southern Bengal, we got very good number of seats in many particular regions. But in some region, we drew blank also. Even during the elections also, Kela Hobe was the famous word of Mamata Banerjee. It was in direct resonance with the slogans that was used by Muslim League people during the direct action days of 1937 to 1947. Let the play begin. We thought that the play, and it was a democratic play. We knew that she will act violently. But we thought that her Kela Hobe, it may be democratic play, but it was not a democratic play. It was a violent play unleashed on us at around 4 o'clock, from around 4 o'clock on May 2nd, when all the 4 other states were peacefully enjoying the results, were peacefully looking at the results, and the victors were enjoying, losers were heartbroken. Victors were enjoying happily, positively, the losers were heartbroken. But in Bengal, victors started violence on the losers. It started in Arambagh, a constituency in South Chowbis Parganas, by burning the Bharatiya Janata Party office, and it continued in Nandigram. Within 6 hours, 11 of our workers were killed. Before 12 o'clock on that day, 11 of our workers are killed. And till today, there have been 33 political murders. There have been 33 political murders. Sitaram Yechury, he tweeted against the violence of Trinamool Congress. Congress people, they tweeted against the violence of Congress people, but none of them have the guts to come to Calcutta and sit together and criticize Mamata Banerjee, because in national politics, they are all hands together. They are all hands together. The Congress leaders should be ashamed of themselves, because they can't even sympathize with their worker, who 1 or 2 of these 33 has also been Congress workers. Not all 33 are from BJP. 1 or 2 are also from Congress, 1 or 2 are also from Communist Party, and 3 or 4 also are from Trinamool Congress, who were caught in the crossfire in the violence. Or some people, when they were preparing the bombs to be thrown on other parties, it got exploded and they killed themselves. That such kind of incidents have also happened. But there have been 33 political murders across the state. You don't even know this number from Tamil Nadu media or social media. When 4 states, with 0 casualty, they completed their elections. With 0 deaths, they completed their election. But here is a state where just got 33 deaths. 1,800 people from Alipurduar and Kuch Bihar district, they had to flee to Assam. There is a record. I'm not telling any fairy tale. There is record. There is police record. 1,800 people, they had to flee to Assam. They are refugees in their own country. They couldn't return for 15, 16 days. There have been 8,200 cases of violence. 900 against women. 2,700 against Dalit workers or Dalit population. 2,700 against Dalit population. More than 10,000 houses were damaged. 6,000 shops were damaged. Some minor, some major. In all, some 40,000 people had to flee their houses either to the relatives' houses or nearby cities or to Calcutta. Till today, we are running some 9 or 10 refugee camps. We don't want to call it refugee camp, but it is at actual it is a refugee camp. This has been the level of the violence that has been taking place. And as I told you earlier, we have booked some 3,000 complaints, but FIR has been filed in only 200 cases. Around 200 cases. My number may be 10 or 10 plus or 20 minus. It's around 200 cases FIR has been filed. And this is the way the administration runs there. A chief secretary, he doesn't report to Prime Minister. It is his duty. And some of the ex-cabinet secretaries and senior bureaucrats are condemning central government for it. What does the central government should do? Should a government bow, an elected government, which has got a very good majority of 303 seats, had to bow in front of an IAS officer for not reporting? When people tell that Narendra Modi government is doing a wrong thing, why can't question the same chief secretary who didn't report? He came behind the chief minister. It was his duty, constitutional duty, because it was his duty through rule book, that he had to receive the chief prime minister. The chief secretary of the state and DGP of a state, they have to receive the prime minister. There is no other. The rules are there. If his chief minister was not allowing, he had to come and tell that chief minister is not allowing. That much was his duty. And the central government issues a notice. He resigned, and immediately he is being appointed as chief advisor to the chief minister, and none of the folks who criticize the central government want to criticize the chief secretary, outgoing chief secretary there. He is no chief advisor. This is the way politicization of the administration has happened in West Bengal. This is the way politicization of the people get retired, immediately they get plum port in the same government. Plum ports in the same government. Bharatiya Janata Party, inside the assembly and outside the assembly, it has been fighting very hard against these violence. But we are bound by constitutional frameworks. We are bound by democratic traditions. We cannot fight bomb by bomb, and we don't want to fight bomb by bomb. We cannot fight gun by gun, and we don't want to do it. Our women worker, I feel ashamed to say it, our women worker, booth agent, 18-year-old booth agent who was a college student, she was Debjanita, she was raped. She was raped and murdered. For no fault, there was only single fault, she was a BJP worker, that's all. Yesterday in an area called, it starts from P, in Kolkata, in a particular housing society, out of the 534 votes polled in that particular society, 500 votes they had come for Bharatiya Janata Party. Yesterday evening, more than 60 vehicles have been damaged in that housing society, just for voting for Bharatiya Janata Party. Just for voting for. We do have a minister in Tamil Nadu who tells that Nangella ungalku pandra na ninga BJP kachi vote podringa. All you Marwadis, you vote for Bharatiya Janata Party. At least the good thing is that he only spoke at that Salan. In West Bengal, they kill also. In West Bengal, they destroy also. In West Bengal, they rape also. But if we have a minister, that is also wrong, but he tells and he speaks, he makes a speech. This is the level of violence that is happening in West Bengal nowadays. The violence has been an everyday affair. Yesterday also there was a worker was killed in Nandigram. Day before yesterday, a worker was killed in South Chowbis Pargana. They are making it a point that every day we will show violence. Every day you will be hit by a violence. What is their motive? BJP should not grow. What is their motive? Come local body elections, the corporation elections of Kolkata and Siliguri, BJP should not have candidates, but they have taken a wrong route. In front of every one of you, with your moral and physical support, I can say with courage and I can say with conviction that this is the last thing Bharatiya Janata Party will accept. This is the last thing Bharatiya Janata Party will take it quote down. Democracy has given us various tools to fight back. We will use every single of those tools to fight back in West Bengal. Our national president immediately visited West Bengal for 2 days. Sri J.P. Nadda ji, he visited on May 4th and May 5th. He went to around 6 or 7 places where our workers were targeted. He went outside Kolkata also, he traveled inside Kolkata also. He gave moral support to our workers. The various office bearers from Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, Vishwa Hindu Parishad and Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh, they have also been touring across the state. We complained to National SC Commission, National ST Commission, National Child Commission and National Women Commission. We gave them proof. We showed them witnesses. The commission chairman, they have come there and they have also attended to it. We hope that those commissions will also follow it up with these complaints and their visits. On behalf of Abhijit Sarkar and Haren Adhikari, one from Kolkata and one from Nandigram, who was murdered, cold-blooded murder on the day of the election. Abhijit Sarkar, first his puppy was murdered in front of his eyes. And within half an hour, he was also clubbed to death in Kolkata, right in the heart of Kolkata. And Haren Adhikari, he was murdered in Nandigram, where Mamata Banerjee lost. Today, the irony of the thing is, Mamata Banerjee and his crony, they are criticizing Bharatiya Janata Party for nominating Swapan Das Gupta, who got defeated in Tarkeshwar, again as Rajya Sabha MP. If one among you criticizes, I will just listen. But if Trinamool criticizes, you have a chief minister who has lost election. You have a chief minister who has got lost election, and you are telling that we cannot nominate a person who lost the election. No morality here, no remorse, nothing. Just get nominated as leader of the party, and she takes short, and she again behaves in such a violent manner. which is unbecoming of Indian ethos or Indian democratic traditions. Today, the whole country is there with Bengal, our brothers and sisters. After we petitioned the Supreme Court has issued a notice. We have demanded SIT for probing the violent incidents of West Bengal that is happening. And the Supreme Court has taken cognizance of all those violent incidents that are happening across the state, and it has issued notice to the state government, which will follow the rule of law, and as per the tradition, as per the traditions of judiciary, it will follow. We are following it up. There have been protests across the country with suitable precautions, because everywhere COVID lockdown was there. There have been protests across 30 countries in the world in the name of Save Bengal Forum. Our leaders have been traveling there within limits because there is lockdown there. Our state president and leader of the opposition, Subendra Adhikari, they are also traveling across the state there, instilling confidence in the minds of the people. We are helping the people who have been hurt because of the violent incident, and also whose properties have been damaged by the violent incident. We are helping them also under the name of Vastuvara Sahayata Samiti, for which you can also give support to it. This has been the political the tragedy of the political journey of West Bengal, which I put in front of you in whatever time that was available to me. My only request to every one of us, what we can do, you cannot travel to West Bengal. You cannot give physical support to our workers, but educate people in Tamil Nadu by with what is happening in West Bengal. You can write, please write. You can post blogs, you post blogs. You can do social media posting, you do social media posting. You can meet some Bengalis in Tamil Nadu, can sympathize with them, you please sympathize with them. If you can donate materials and money to Vastuvara Sahayata Samiti, please contact our workers so that you can get the account numbers, you can help it. More than 8,000 individuals or families are to be helped by the party and the various Vichar Parivar organizations. We sitting here in Tamil Nadu, one thing we can do is that never we will follow the political violent techniques of Trinamool Congress or community in our state. That resolve we can make it. And the second resolve that we can make it is we will sympathize and stand shoulder to shoulder with the brothers and sisters of West Bengal from whatever party they are, if they are facing the violence. Because democracy gives you a platform to fight to fight in once every 5 years. It gives you a platform. It is not a service like 30 years or 35 years, whatever it is. You get appointed here and there, you can complete 35 years. It is not like that. Every 5 years, you have got evaluation, and you are punished if you are not right. You are punished if you are not right. So she always had that platform. Mamata Banerjee always had that platform. But along with that platform, she is ruining that platform also. She is criminalizing it. She is corrupting that platform. In the same way, by following the minority politics, she is ruining the fabric of the West Bengal society also. That is what which hurts. But we will fight very hard. We will fight to the last, and we are sure that we will win. It was the same case in Assam. We came to power 5 years ago, and today we have a peaceful Assam there, and we have come back again with little more number of seats this time. Bharatiya Janata Party was 58, then it got 60. This time, originally we have 60 now itself. Now we have a peaceful state where every underground organizations are putting down their weapon and joining the mainstream of the society. We want to create a West Bengal in the same way as we have been developing Assam. For this, we will fight. We will fight for the society of West Bengal. We will fight for the people of the West Bengal. That is our resolve in the coming days. That's all for me to say. Thank you for all for listening to my words. Nandri Vanakkam. I will take questions as per the directions and design of organizers.
சார் ஏதாவது கேட்கணும்னா கேட்கலாம் சார். பொலவல் சீனிவாசன் சார்.
Namaste,
sir. Namaste.
Okay, go ahead, Srinivasan, go ahead.
Yeah, sir, first of all, introduction. My name is Kolahla Srinivas. I'm a senior journalist, and I am running a separate YouTube channel. It's called as Kolahlas TV, and which is completely dedicated for the cause of nationalist cause. Recently, recently we have released a video on Mehul Choksi's extradition, and we have released a video on Lakshadweep. And we have released two videos, exclusive videos on post-Bengal violence in time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. But my question is, so the violence is continuing in West Bengal. It's going on. It's going on. But the fearlessness of Mamata Banerjee, that is highly questionable. What I suspect is, only after the SR Bommai case verdict, the verdict has diluted so much Article 356. This gave so much guts to these kind of states. So we have to find out a constitutional way to put down the violence in this kind of states. Is it possible to find out a constitutional way? Because the SR Bommai case verdict insists to implement 356. The both houses of parliament has to ratify the dismissal of state.
That is
This is the core reason. This is the core reason for a Mamata-like politician. So we have to find out a constitutional way. And another, this is my opinion. My question is, in 2019 Lok Sabha election, we let in 127 assembly segments, and we secured 40% votes. But contrary to that, the present elections, we have secured only 77, 50 seats below the mark, and our percentage is 2% below the mark. At the same time, Mamata Banerjee has scored 230, 2 more seats. So what went wrong on our side?
Usually across the country, if you look at the voting percentages, generally, I'm not telling it is right. I'm not telling it is a logic to support my performance. But generally that happens is, for Bharatiya Janata Party, usually from Lok Sabha election to Assembly elections, our percentage comes down. It may be in any state. And this has been very less in Bengal. To state the matter of fact to you, we got 13% vote less in Jharkhand, and we got 11% vote less in Haryana, and we got 5% votes less in Maharashtra during assembly election compared to the parliament elections. We had a very stalwart leader in the form of Narendra Modi during parliament election, and we had huge performance card to his back also. So we were able to attract votes in the name of Narendra Modi and in the name of organization during 2019 election. But the problem is there. You can't negate the problem, and you can't bury the problem also. We didn't have a chief ministerial candidate in West Bengal. For that matter, we didn't have chief ministerial candidates in many of the other parts also. This is one of the reasons. The second big reason, which can be more important than the first, is the decimation of Congress and the left.
Yes.
The Bengal is a very big state. It is a very big, it is not a small state like Tripura where you can score 60% and take two-thirds of this thing, or Manipur where you can take 41% and come to power, or like Puducherry, we have come to power there, we will be part of the cabinet also. It is not a small state, it is a huge state with 9.56 crore voters. So for a fledgling party like Bharatiya Janata Party, a third combination, the third party is always required for balancing for some more time. Last assembly election, they had 77. The communists had 77, but we had 10.3% vote. But this time we have 77 seats, and they were nowhere to be seen. First time there is 0 seats for communists. First time there is 0 seats for Congress also. Even in Muslim belts where Murshidabad, in Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, where he was the parliament member, he was also the Congress president of the state. They couldn't even take single seat in his constituency also. The total decimation of Congress and the left, and the shifting of that vote either by design or by development. I don't know, I can't allegate that. It may be by design also, looking at the way their electioneering progressed after second phase. Or it may be a development, electoral development that happened on the ground looking at the progress of Bharatiya Janata Party. And it may be the design or it may be development. And that total decimation of left and the Congress has been the major reason as far as our performance is concerned. And there had to be a third force which will take away quite a few number of votes also. In the absence of it, those votes also shifted to Trinamool Congress, which were naturally the votes anti-BJP. It got together with Trinamool Congress is also another major reason. One was from the party, one was from the demography and the voting, and the third section of the party's performance is concerned.
Sir, only one more question. Just only one more question. Sir, now Mamata has come to power. Still, you believe, is it possible to implement a CAA in West Bengal?
It is possible because whatever she
Okay.
may do, she is also bound by constitutional processes. It is an act of parliament, and CA is an act of parliament. It is not some order of a central government. It is an act of parliament, and parliament rules the rules. So she may not cooperate. She may create hurdle. She may put quite a few number of obstacles. But at the end of the day, she has to do it. She has to do it, or she will be made to do it. And we have that much of constitutional safeguards in our country to safeguard it. That much belief we have got, and we are going to implement it. Just because of the COVID reason, that hasn't taken shape and gone forward. Once the COVID again subsides, we will be taking up. Now that the western part of the country, the order has been issued, the eastern part of the country also orders will be issued. Now in 13 districts of Punjab, Rajasthan and Gujarat, the orders have been issued now. The same will be done to the eastern parts of India also.
Namaste, Santosh ji. My name is Sriram Seshadri. I'm a chartered accountant, strategy consultant, and also economic and political commentator, analyst, participate in several TV discussions supporting the nationalist idea.
Thank you, sir. Good to know you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. First of all, I want to appreciate the effort that you have put in explaining what has happened in the last few months or even few years by BJP in West Bengal, enlightening us. The question, I come to that question. West Bengal violence happened immediately after the results were declared, and believe that mostly the long-term BJP Karyakartas died or injured, and not the recent joiners of the party, who are none other than the last few years there is an inorganic growth of the cadre base. So I put the question in two perspectives. One is there are several reports that keep circulating, whether it may be true or not. I want your point of view on that. That the leftist camp who joined BJP during the last few years probably indulged in the violence to safeguard themselves from TMC rule. The second is the supplementary to that is the inorganic growth of the party cadre base who do not have the ideological alignment. Is BJP worried about such inorganic growth model, or is it something that they can do about it? Last question I'll add here. How does BJP manage to keep the morale of the cadres in spite of all these trials that they have gone through? That's really something that you might be able to answer that.
Thank you, sir. You have put in three questions to me. The Communist Party, ex-Communist Party workers indulging in violence, it is not true. Because immediately once the results started trickling in, when they got the confidence that they will be winning the majority, maybe they were not to the scale that they had expected. This scale they might not have expected. They started violence on their own. You'll be wondering to know the kinds of the violence. This killing and rape, I have told you on this. They sit in their office, call our workers and tell that we want to conduct our victory procession. For that, the expense is 75,000. If you are going to donate 75,000, you can stay in this locality. Otherwise, get out of this locality. If you have to stay in that locality, he has to pay for it. They have demanded it to the tune of few lakhs also. Out of compulsion, many of our people had to pay it because they have to stay in the same locality. They have children, they have wife, they have father, mother, they have to stay in the same locality. Now they are snatching the ration cards. No ration cards will be issued. They have snatched your voter card and either Aadhaar cards. but tell that you will not work for any political party henceforth or support Trinamool Congress. Then we will give you Aadhaar card and voter card. Thousands and thousands of people, and we are yet to survey that number. And they are not getting PDS for the last month, and they may not get it for month together in the coming days. This time there is no any violence from our part at all. It has been a one-sided violence. There will be a limit to the patience is another thing. But our workers have been restrained till now. But they may not be restrained at an individual level at some point of time to come. Organizationally, you can be restrained, but every individual may not be restrained, and that we can't control. The second one is the inorganic growth that inorganic growth, we are not worried about it. We have our organizational processes where commitment to the ideology and committed to the working culture, it will be inculcated as and when the growth happens. For the past 4 years, there have been very good development as far as that front is concerned, and our organization is in a very good shape to tell you. And I have toured more than 60 constituencies there during my election, during these elections. In every single constituency, our workers are committed. They may not be strong enough, or they may not be skilled enough for election work. In Tamil Nadu also, it is a skill that required.
Yeah.
So they may not be strong to face the violence. They may not be skilled enough to face the political tactics of the opponents, which they will learn in a few more elections. It has been second major election for us. That's all. When you look at the organization, you should understand that it is second major election. First major election where we fought very hard was 2019. Second major election, to keep the fact right, it is third major election, 2018 Panchayat election, we fought across the state. 2019 election, we fought across the state. And 2021 election, we have fought across the state. So it has been a learning curve for us. With some more elections, we will be on the fray. In some more elections, we will be on the fray. Now we have got 77 MLAs and with 18 MPs and 2 Rajya Sabha members, we are nearly 100 people's representative we have it. In very short time, you will hear the democratic voices of them rising over the horizons of West Bengal. This is the first time Mamata Banerjee is facing a single party, a major opposition to her. First time she will be facing it. So she will face the opposition. And the other day wherein she boycotted for one single reason that there was opposition leader in the form of Suvendu Adhikari. It was very clear that she boycotted just for the presence of Suvendu Adhikari. And Suvendu Adhikari is not an individual. He is not a party worker. He is not just an MLA. He is the leader of the opposition. He commands as much power as a cabinet minister. He can call official meetings. He may not order, but he can review all the developments. What is there in calling them? What was the mistake in calling him? The opposition leader was called in Orissa also. And the others who were called was governor and central ministers. And chief minister is not the queen of a state, and she is part. She may be first among the equals. That's all. She is first among the equals. And here she is not even first among the equals because she is a defeated lady. She has lost. He is an immoral chief minister, to be very frank. He didn't even wait till our victory is established in some other by-election. So this is the case. And with nearly 100 of our people's representative, it is only a matter of time before we come up. As I have told, now they are facing a big opposition, and Bharatiya Janata Party has got 77 MLAs in the state. 77 is a small number, not a small number. With 4 MLAs, if in the assembly and political this thing, in Tamil Nadu, if BJP can make a mark with 4 MLAs, with 77 MLAs, we can necessarily make a mark in West Bengal.
So last question. Yeah, how does BJP manage to keep the morale of the cadres in spite of so much of violence and
I missed that question. One thing is, surely I will agree that there has been a dip in the morale of the party workers there. The major reason for it is not Bharatiya Janata Party, COVID. Because of COVID, neither our MLAs are able to tour there. Now only rules apply to BJP MLAs and BJP MPs, all those lockdown and all. The Trinamool workers are roaming around like everything. Our 3 MLAs in Siliguri, they were put under bars for one single day. Yes, they broke the rules, but they broke the rules for the sake of society, public. But they are put under bar, judicial lockup for a day. And their workers are roaming around. The problem is COVID. And if not for COVID, you would have found that we would have, till now, we would have organized hundreds of protests and thousands of meetings. Every single worker would have been visited by this time. And we are hand stuck because of COVID guidelines. Once the COVID guidelines eases up, you will see the Bharatiya Janata Party standing shoulder to shoulder with every single worker who has given his life and sweat to this party and this nationalist movement. We'll be doing it. We are just waiting for to see that the COVID guidelines are eased.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Srinivasji, you are not heard. I think you have to unmute.
Sir, இப்போ கேக்குதா?
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, at the time of election, Mamata Banerjee says BJP leaders are outsiders. While she readily accepts Rohingyas are insiders. Why are we not successful in handling to bring this to the notice of people?
No, we have. It was only her logic that we were outsiders. People did not, because all of our candidates were West Bengal. Time and again, our leaders were also telling that nobody from Gujarat or Tamil Nadu or Delhi will become the chief minister of the state. It is only people from Bengal who will become the MLAs and people from Bengal who will become the chief minister. But all regional parties, they will always be able to a level of success. They can put up this thing that this is a outsider party. To a fair extent, sometimes they will be successful also. Only to that extent, she was also successful. That I don't think has made a very big difference as far as our electoral fortunes are concerned. It may be a talking point, it may be a narrative, but that narrative may not affect their vote. Yeah, we didn't have a chief minister face. We agree. We wanted to do it post the elections. In many states, we had applied both the rules in our party. In some cases, we announce the candidate. In some cases, we don't announce the candidate. When we have announced also, we have failed. When we have not announced, we have won hugely in West Bengal. So it is a risk that we have to take, so we did not announce it. But outsider tag or barb, I individually don't feel that it has given her any other advantage. But it had created a narrative, is for sure. But all our campaign, other things, they used to run in Bengali only. And we used to run it even in Tamil Nadu also, we'll do it. And whenever there is a speech in Hindi or English, when we go for public meeting, we translate it. A national party always has that problem. Prime Minister cannot speak all languages. Even if he learns also, he cannot learn all languages after becoming a Prime Minister. That factor will always be there. But I don't think she has got any political advantage because of that narrative. But it was a narrative that was established.
Thank you.
Thank you.
ஜெய் அவ்வளவுதான் நினைக்கிறேன் ஜி கொஸ்டின்ஸ்.
எல்லோருக்கும் நன்றி.
இருங்க வேற யாராவது கேக்குறாங்களா?
Can I add one more since we have time?
டாக்டர் ராஜ்குமார் இருந்தாரு.
டாக்டர் ராஜ்குமார் கேட்கணுமா? சரி, ஓகே.
Hello, I'm Dr. Rajkumar.
Yes,
It's such a pleasure to attend this meeting, and
You're audible, you
I
can
thought
speak.
it's the first time I'm also seeing Murugan ji and Shelvi ji and Srinivas all together. I think Shri Santosh ji really opened the eyes for many of us as to what is happening. No, Chala Manchila Chesi, very happy about it. I just have one small doubt. How do we go about increasing the reach of this information that you have given to more and more people in Tamil Nadu? Because we're not that, the average Tamilian is not that much aware of what's happening there.
Going from today, I think party has planned district-wise and also mandal-wise meetings as far as this West Bengal violence is concerned. And many writers from the party and from outside fraternity are also there in this meeting, like Honorable Srinivas ji, Honorable Sriram ji, and all who are men of words also. I request people like them also to contribute in a way to state the facts. I don't want to take the BJP line or something. To state the violence is happening, people are being killed. That has to be put in front of the people of the state, because that is also a state belonging to this country. The situation there has to be put in front of the people of Tamil Nadu. One is party will be organizing a series of seminars in next coming week or so. But every single person who can write and read, they need to do their part of the duty for this country and for this democratic tradition.
Thank you again, sir, and thanks.
Muruganji, if I have one more question, if I have time to add.
கேளுங்க கேளுங்க.
Okay, thank you. Sir Santoshi, the question is, now we are seeing like the Chief Secretary of West Bengal, clearly went out of his way of duty and all those. So is there an anarchic behavior that is being encouraged to the bureaucrats of West Bengal also? And how would the government, central government, handle this? I know you are not part of the government to give that direction, but at least since you have been very closely involved, how would the government handle if a whole state bureaucracy is creating a fault line in our constitutional process?
It's not only in West Bengal. It has become a part of the political traditions of many other political parties also. This tendency of developing anarchist attitude for political reasons. There may be some people with anarchist attitude themselves. That is a different problem. But political parties encouraging officers to become disobedient. And when I tell obedient, I don't tell something beyond a certain limit. But any system, any institution requires some obedience. You are there in a party, it requires some adhering to some rules. But as I told, the institutionalization of corruption and politicization of administration in Bengal has been so rampant. First 30 long years of communist rule, then Mamata Banerjee took the baton from communist and she did not change the colors also. She added more color to it. She did not take away the color. She did not sheen away it. She added more color to the same baton. She did more politicization, she did more corrupt practices, and she added more criminalization to it. That has been a problem. This has been a tradition in West Bengal. Unlike other states, this has been a tradition in other states. Here we may see individuals in Tamil Nadu, but Tamil Nadu's administration is in very good hands. Whenever I travel Tamil Nadu, it is in spite of politicians, Tamil Nadu is good today. Whatever it is. You have one scheme called ECLGS announced by the central government. In that, Tamil Nadu is in second position. I tell this is in spite of politicians, not because of politicians. It is in spite of politicians. We have good administrators. Yes, 1 or 2 may be politicized, 10 or 20 may be corrupt, but we have a set of good officers also who can stand up to politicians when they say wrong things. When they say wrong thing, somebody has to stand up. When Chief Secretary has to tell that, Madam, you may not go, but I have to go. You may not go. Mamata Banerjee need not come. She may boycott. She is a politician. You can't remove her from her Chief Minister post. But a Chief Secretary cannot do this. He is an institution. He is the backbone and he is the overall, he is a part of a structure. He cannot make the structure to crumble. There has been this tendency and central government is aware of it, but you cannot handle it with rules or notices. Rules and notices can be stray incidents, but a culture has to be inculcated. Central government is on the job and slowly that plan is also kicking up. The motivation part of it, training part of it, and also the scaling up of the skills is also concerned. In that motivation and skills, even this has been taken care of is what I have written in the media, how much ever it has appeared in the media.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
There was one single question. I will answer it. Then you can wind up, Mr. Shelviji. Will there be any exodus from the party? And you did not fear it. If there is no exodus from Bharatiya Janata Party in Tamil Nadu, there can never be an exodus from West Bengal Bharatiya Janata Party. And you see 4 or 5 names, all those people who came to party from Trinamool Congress just during the election time to whom we did not give ticket because they were not strong enough there, or they didn't have any winnability chances. Some of them are going back. It will always be there. They came for some benefit here. When they don't get the benefit, some among them will go in the very natural process. It is only be hand few people which you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can count, but there will be no exodus. Our growth has been inorganic, but we have settled on. Our workers have settled, and now their ideological commitment and also their commitment for the development of West Bengal and their commitment to the organization is very high. It can be compared to other states also. Some stray incident will not be an exodus. It is only a few incidents. You can be confident that the future will belong to us. Near future will belong to us. When I tell future, it is not 25, 50 years. Near future will belong to Bharatiya Janata Party in the days to come. Thank you all.
கலந்து கொண்ட அனைவருக்கும் அறிவுசார் தமிழ்நாடு இன்டலெக்சுவல் விங் சார்பாகவும் தமிழ்நாடு பாரதிய ஜனதா கட்சிக்கும் மற்றும் எங்களுடைய ஆர்கனைசேஷன் செக்ரட்டரி நேஷனல் திரு சந்தோஷ்ஜி அவர்களுக்கும் கலந்து கொண்ட அத்தினி எங்களுடைய மாநில தலைவர் முருகன்ஜி அவர்களுக்கும் கலந்து கொண்ட கோலாகல சீனிவாசன் சார் அவர்களுக்கும் விஜயகுமார் சார் அவர்களுக்கும் ஜிவி ரமணா சார் அவர்களுக்கும் டாக்டர் JS ராஜ்குமார் அவர்களுக்கும் சிங்கப்பூரை சேர்ந்த கிருஷ்ணமூர்த்தி அவர்களுக்கும் திரு ஸ்ரீராம் சேஷாத்ரி அவர்களுக்கும் டாக்டர் விஜய் பாலாஜி அவர்களுக்கும் டாக்டர் மகேஷ்பதி அவர்களுக்கும் டாக்டர் மகேஷ் துரையப்பா அவர்களுக்கும் டாக்டர் ரமேஷ் ஷெட்டி அவர்களுக்கும் டாக்டர் முரளி அவர்களுக்கும் தீபு நாயர் அவர்களுக்கும் எம் சேஷசாய் அவர்களுக்கும் மிஸ்டர் மனோகரன் அவர்களுக்கும் எம் கோபால் ரமணன் அவர்களுக்கும் காலனல் லெப்டினன்ட் கர்னல் புபேந்தர் அவர்களுக்கும் டாக்டர் ஸ்ரீதர் அவர்களுக்கும் டாக்டர் ஆத்திரியா அவர்களுக்கும் ஜீவா டாடா சயின்டிஸ்ட் அவர்களுக்கும் இம்தியாஸ் அவர்களுக்கும் ஷாம் அவர்களுக்கும் சசிகுமார் அவர்களுக்கும் பாஸ்கரன் அவர்களுக்கும் மற்ற ஏனையோர் அனைவருக்கும் தமிழ்நாடு பாரதிய ஜனதா கட்சி அனைவருக்கும் எங்களுடைய மனமார்ந்த நன்றியை தெரிவித்துக் கொண்டு விடைபெற்றுக் கொள்கின்றோம். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
வணக்கம்.